If you're on the fence between the Fox SpeedFrame Pro and the Troy Lee Designs A3 helmet, stay tuned. What's up, bike fam? Today we are doing our first requested video on the channel. Shout out to Dave and Daniel for putting this request in. They wanted to see a comparison between the Fox SpeedFrame Pro and the Troy Lee Designs A3 helmet. I just posted my review on the Troy Lee Designs A3 helmet not too long ago. If you want to take a look at that, I think I'll try to put it somewhere up in the top if I can figure out how to do that, or it'll be a link in the description below. Today we're going to be just kind of comparing these two helmets for those of you that are kind of on the fence between, you know, which one to get. All right, so let's just jump into it. I picked up the Fox SpeedFrame Pro probably about 6 to 8 months ago. Once I started getting back into riding my bike, I wanted a better helmet that had this MIPS system, and that stands for Multi-Directional Impact Protection System. Basically, it's sort of like a cradle for your head, okay? And what it does is it prevents your head from moving in the event of a crash. What you don't want when you crash is for your head to kind of, you know, shake violently from side to side. And so what the MIPS does, it acts as sort of like a cradle, and it lets your head move anywhere from 10 to 15 millimeters before transferring any of that energy back to you. So it's a great safety feature to have. I highly recommend it if you're looking for a new helmet to choose one with MIPS, because any extra protection you can give yourself just makes sense. You know, you only have one head protected. So both have that feature. Both also have this FID lock, and I can't get it to work. There we go. Both have this FID lock strap system where it's just a magnet, and it just requires you to just kind of like take it right off, and it also comes on pretty easily. You can do it with one hand, so that's pretty nice. Most of the premium helmets now have this FID lock system on it, and I think it does make a difference. So both helmets have that. As you can see, both helmets have lots of different holes on the top for aerodynamics and just airflow, just to get better airflow to your head when you're riding. I did notice something though when I rode with the A3 earlier today. The A3, while it does have a lot of different vents in here, because of the way that the headliner is, if you can see that headliner, it's pretty beefy. I think this is just a warmer helmet. It felt warm on my head. It wasn't hot. You know, I live in Hawaii where the sun's out almost year round, and today was a hot day, but it wasn't hot. It was just warm. You know, air does flow through it, but I think because of the way this headliner is and how thick and how much it is, you know, cradling your head, that does tend to keep you warmer. If you take a look at the Fox one, it's going to be harder to see because it's black, but you can kind of see, like, look at how minimal this is compared to the Troy Lee. You only have stuff that's right down the middle. You have some that are here up on the top for your forehead, but there's no headliner in the back. And I don't think that I'm missing anything, but that's just how this helmet sits. So at least this is how it was when I got it. I don't know if it's missing anything, but it doesn't look like anything's missing. But compared to the Troy Lee, you know, the Troy Lee has your whole head surrounded with the headliner. This, you only have it in the front part and the very top. There's nothing in the back, and maybe that's just a design choice, but this helmet is cooler, you know, and I think it's just because there's just less of that headliner. Now, one thing that is pretty cool with the Troy Lee is that this headliner can be taken out and you can kind of customize it the way that you want. There are perforations. I don't know if you can kind of see some of the perforations that are in there. And let me take this off. So, okay. So there are certain perforations that are in the helmet that are kind of like here and here. You can basically just take a scissors and cut some of the headliner out to give it more of a airflow, I guess. So that's something that's kind of neat. The Troy Lee does give you a spare set of headliners, and the Troy Lee also has what's called this, what is it called? A sweat protection, they call it the sweat glide system. Basically, it's this rubber piece that goes around right on your forehead. It acts as like a barrier between your forehead and the helmet, and if you sweat, it's supposed to channel the sweat to the sides. So if you're somebody that sweats a lot, that might be something that you want in a helmet. In the Fox doesn't have that. The Fox just has a simple, it's just part of the headliner, and then that's it, okay? Both helmets have visors that can move up for goggles. I can't show it to you on the Fox because, as you can see, I mounted a GoPro mount here, and so that prevents the helmet from coming up, so I could show you that. But both of them have that ability to do that. They have magnets that will go up into 3 increments, and then you can kind of slide your goggles. It also can go up a little bit higher on the Troy Lee, but you can kind of see that's nice. That's something that the A3 has that the A1 and the A2 do not have. So that's something that's kind of new to the A3. So both helmets have that. They both have what's called Visor dual density foam. So basically there's kind of like 2 different layers of foam in the helmet. You can't really see any difference in the color, but it's supposed to have a different density between the 2 layers as more of a protection for your head in the event of a crash. So both helmets have that technology as well. They're really very, very similar. I mean, if you take a look, in this overhead view, you'll see the size of the helmets are almost identical. They're very similar. One thing I did notice with the Fox, though, the Fox looks like it does have almost a bigger visor, but surprisingly, the visor works better on the Troy Lee. And let me explain that. So on the Fox, if you look at the front, you see how the front has this air channel here? Because it has this air channel and the visor, this is the lowest it can go, the visor has to sit that much higher off of your head. And so when I wear this, let me show you what it looks like when it's on. When I put this on, it fits real well, okay? But when I look straight ahead, I can barely see the visor. It just barely shows up. But when I put on the Troy Lee, because the visor sits closer to my head, I can definitely see the visor a lot more prominently in my view, which is telling me that it's covering more of my face. It's going to give me more of a shield, and that's because it doesn't have that big channel in the front that the visor has to sit over that before giving me protection. So that's something that I noticed with the Fox. With the Fox, you have this, big old space over here, and it's good for air, but the visor doesn't really do a whole lot. And that's kind of what I wanted my helmet to have, is a good visor. I'm out here in Hawaii where it's sunny a lot of the times, and I want something that has a little bit of protection, for my eyes. So I don't know. Anyway, but this is what the Fox looks like. Again, it just has that very easy to use fit lock system. It looks great. It fits great. Even though this one doesn't have as much of the headliner in it, it still feels really good. It's pretty, it fits snugly. It has that thing in the back that allows you to adjust how tight or how loose you want it. Both helmets have that as well. Oops, can't really see that too always. All right, but both of them have that. What I did notice, so in sizing, okay, Both helmets are very similar. I chose the medium large for the Troy Lees because the next step was an extra large and double extra large. And I was like, ooh, that might be too big. And so I went with the medium large. And this fits me if I crank it open as much as possible, if I open this dial as much as possible, it fits my head perfectly. I think with the Fox, their medium is a 55 to 59 centimeter versus the Troy Lees is a 57 to 59. So I think for the Fox, the medium is probably the most popular choice. And if you go online, that's kind of what you're seeing. The mediums are all sold out. You're not able to even buy the medium in the Fox because I think that's like it's the most versatile size, I think. So they both look great. They both come in different colorways and different designs. Obviously, this one is just the plain black. This is the only large I could get. They had absolutely no other colors in stock anywhere else. When I bought this, I was kind of stuck with just getting this one for the Troy Lee. This one the A3 came out a couple of months ago, and this new colorway, the Sideway, just came out very recently, only maybe like a couple of weeks ago. They have two different colors in this one. This is the black with the blue accents, and there's another one that's yellow and orange. My favorite color is blue, so I went with this one. They're both fantastic helmets. They both are going to do a great job in protecting your head. You just have to decide how much you want to spend. The Troy Lee is $229. The Fox SpeedFrame Pro is $160. Is it worth the $60 difference? The Troy Lee does give you like a bag, an extra set of liners. It does give you that sweat protection system. So I don't know if all of that stuff is worth it. If you like having, the visor that actually works, then I think maybe the Troy Lee is for you. For me, if I had to choose between the two and which one I'm gonna pick up when I go and ride, I'm gonna probably pick up the Troy Lee because I like how it fits a little smaller to my head. I like having the visor that works. It does have a little lower amount of protection. If you take a look at the two, you see how it kind of goes down a little lower on the Troy Lee. I like that. And even though this one's a little warmer, I just like the overall feel of the Troy Lee. But that's just me, right? If you're looking to buy one of these, you just got to decide, how much do you want to spend and if those things are worth it to you, because they are, $60 is $60, right? So, if none of that stuff matters, if you're kind of comfortable with what the Fox has, then go with the Fox. Both, again, are great helmets, and I don't think you're going to be unhappy with either one. It's just a matter of how much you want to spend. All right, I think that's it. So if this was something that was worthwhile, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. I try to post new videos every week as I'm able to. And yeah, if you got any other questions, drop them in the comments below, and I'll be happy to try and answer them. All right, until next time, take care of one another, be safe, and aloha.